Sup, everyone. My name is Ryu for, well, RyuAvalonGaming for obvious reasons. Don't need to really state. And today, boys, today we are going to fight Sheehan. I've called him Sheehan on a few accounts. Don't mind the cuckoo bird. I've called him Sheehan on a few accounts. And I'm going to go into why. Mainly for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Council. That's the main reason why. It's one of the channels I run on. Now, secondly, I do apologize in advance that some of the DLC footage was a little choppy because the Avery Media capture card was being a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not sure if it was the wire being bumped or whatever it was, but I apologize in advance because some of the footage didn't come out 100% perfect, so I apologize in absolute advance. But I'm going to pull these two in mainly because I'm not going for a challenge here, and I know my guy, my build is supposed to be like this beefy, tough guy that just slams shit down. That's not going to help against this. These are NPC summons, by the way, so we're going to try to clear out this entire area. Very smart. Well, not the first time. Afterwards, I got smart about it. But the first time coming in here, I feel like pretty stupid. Where I'm just like, you know, I don't know what's in here. I'm just going to have my shield up and whack-a-mole. That totally will work, right? I was like, alright, we took out the first guy. How much worse could this be, right? I was like, you see me getting ready with my dark orbs, trying to like get this guy here. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just go up to him and smack him in the face. Oh, no, that didn't, I can't lock him on them. And then I was like, oh no, back away from the salamander, don't want the fireballs in my face. And I tried spamming my dark orbs for obvious reasons, trying to hit him in the face. And then I finally nail him, and I'm like, okay. See, the smarter thing we were going to do, I have a great bow that's like plus 10. I'm not sure if I've ever said that in any of the videos. But I have a great bow that's like plus 10 just in this kind of situation. So if I ever get in a situation where I need to fight something with range, I'm able to do so. Like, this is how I like my Dark Souls characters. And I think for 3, obviously you can see there's a little bit of trouble when it comes to like the audio and everything. It's not lining up 100% perfect, so I am looking into it before I record any more of the next game that's supposed to follow after Dark Souls 2. There'll be 2 playthroughs going out at once. That's going to be a new thing. I just really wanted to finish Dark Souls 3 in time. I mean 2 in time for 3. So that's obviously something, but I'm just going to come up here, try to kill the salamander. And there's no salamander because obviously I didn't know the pathway. It's my first time going through it. I just basically did blind. I'm aware of Sheehan, obviously. I call him Sheehan. I know his name's not Sheehan. I'm aware of the samurai at the end of this, which is pretty much like Bangalore. It's like when you jump into memories and have to, you know, go find him and deal with them that way. I'm absolutely familiar with him. I'm just not familiar with this area. So obviously I ran into this alone knight here, and he's I thought he was alone. But look at that stagger. Just gotta kill it again. Because I am taking way too much damage. I think for Dark Souls 3, I'm gonna play a little more smarter than I am for 2. 2, I was just kinda in the moment, coming off, killing Doom Knight, who is said to be the hardest out of all the Dark Souls, you know, 2 bosses. At least that's what a lot of people were telling me. And so I have friends who play the game, like, man, that is the hardest one to go through. I'm like, alright, I'll take the word for it. Not, you know, not realizing. And if you look at this alone captain, he's like, he's got a lightning blade on him. That motherfucker. He can't be fancy enough with his katana. He's got to have his lightning blade. This motherfucker, man. But he's going for the whack. I'm just like, nope. I'm just gonna gang spank you. And I know. If this was like more of a PvP thing, and I was like, you know, actually willing to fight other players, I wouldn't be having the gang squad with me. The gang squad is just to basically, you know, do the playthrough, play through it. But I think for 3, it will be a little more challenging. For 1, I won't need the gang features more. Outside of 1 boss, which that's pretty much typical for anyone who's only using a melee only without pretty much anything besides a bow, you know, for range. But obviously here you can hear a little bit of the sound going a little bit wonky, you know, compared to the gameplay. I'm sorry. Working on that now, trying to address it. So, you know, it's just something that going back, I don't want to have to bring back the samurai to go through and refilm everything. There you go again. You could see it. I don't know why the capture card was being a pain in the ass. I think eventually I'll have to switch it out to an Elgato. Right now it's just Avery Media, but I die here. And then obviously I'm going to skip ahead on footage here a little bit. Just go for the, I think this is attempt number 2 we were going through. And, I'm just like, I think this is attempt number 2, but this is where I get smart. I put on the great bows. I put on the, great arrows and the great bow. The other great bow, which I picked up while we were So, you know, very, very fucking useful, obviously. Just bring them over one by one. It's pretty much the best strat to do right now, is just bring them over one by one and then gang spank them. Because that's a hell of a lot more tolerable than pretty much everything else that was. But obviously at the end of this, we get to the boss finally, and then we get to the boss attempts, and the boss attempts are just grand. Just absolute grand. See what I mean? Look, he's looking at me. He's looking at me. What are you looking at, bug eyes? Just hold these arrows for me. Hold them. Hold them softly. Softly like a winter's breeze. Okay, that sounded really dumb. It sounded funnier in my head. I don't know. You guys are supposed to kind of laugh at it, but I don't know. It's awful. Awful. But, I try to get kinky and get the one far out. That's really dumb of me. I need to get closer for that one. So I probably should have approached the Alone Knight that's to the right. If I would have been able to get an aim on him, that would have been the best thing to do. Obviously here I get that guy right there. Just real easy. Real easy. Just poke at him away. Poke away at him constantly. Sorry, there's if you hear the construction, there's like two houses down. There's construction right now, so it's like the only time I can actually record. My schedule is so freaking swamped right now, so I apologize. But just gonna take this guy, pick him off with the arrows, because that's the best thing to do. Look at that. There you go. And that's a dead fucking salamander. I ain't gotta worry about attacking him through. And there's this guy over here, which I'm trying to get to, but he's being a little bit of a pain in the ass. He doesn't want to come over. He's like, I see your arrow, but your arrow is not impressive, because you are not the green arrow. You are not Hawkeye either. Obviously, I died a few times just trying to like speed run through it. Basically, the speed run term meaning that I was trying to run through it as fast as I could without getting touched by things. That didn't work out as I was hoping it would, but doesn't learn. I think I get a backstab. No backstab here. I get a backstab on one of these guys. I know that much. So the audio sync problems I'm working on, the visual problems, because you can see sometimes it looks kind of grainy. For me personally, I hate when shit looks grainy. Whether it be capture card, whether it be, you know, the regular cameras you see on the other channels that I often use, I hate it. It drives me fucking insane. Like that and sound are just the two biggest vices for me when it comes to doing anything. So, you know, it's not my best, but hey, I'm just trying to get through the footage because we're a little low on time for Dark Souls 3, and then we'll figure out all the issues why. It could have been something with the Xbox One, just wasn't, you know, because I was watching Netflix and shit. And if you've ever dealt with the Abram media, you know when you watch like Netflix and shit, it's about Netflix, so that's the fuck up. But we're just gonna take this guy out with a bow. Pretty much the most simple way of dealing with this scumbag is dealing with him with a bow. That is pretty much self-explanatory. That's going to be the easiest route. And obviously, we know there's a knight over here now, so we could just deal with them. Well, is there a knight over here? No, there was a knight before here that approaches you if you basically just sprint on through. And obviously, we have to go down here into the sub level section. But I'm just checking out everything, and I just realized I missed some loot. And I don't want to leave my loot behind, so I'm just gonna go run and go grab my loot. But man, what a freaking hard time I had with the second DLC, because it wasn't the samurai so much. Like I had to take a break against the samurai because the samurai was whooping my ass constantly. I'm not gonna even lie about that, and that's why I had the gang squad with me. That's with the gang squad. So I'm not skilled enough with a big ass weapon to do it solo. I know it's possible. I know if I focused enough, I probably could have. But this was going to be the easiest route for me to do it. And just making it a little bit easier is going to be a little less hard. And man, this DLC has just been a challenge. So that's why, and minor spoiler, after we deal with the samurai, we'll be dealing with what's his face called? Smelter Demon. I always forget it. I call Smelter Demon Fume Knight because it's like Smelter Demon 2. And he's like, I'm better than Smelter Demon 1, biatch. But for that fight, I used so much magic resistance, it's not even funny. I had to get an arrow through the door. I was going to be an archer once, but then I shot an arrow through the fucking door like a retard. So, my own fault there. But just going to pick these guys off. He's got that big-ass shield. Even he's fine. He's fine. He's got that big-ass shield. That big-ass shield is going to protect him. That's pretty much when you're kind of bad at the game, you play with a big shield. No, not always. Not always, because I've seen some amazing PvP from the community of people just using like tower shields to actually fight and beat people with. Man, it's just like impressive. That's part of the reason I love this game so much. It just the community. You know, every community's got its bad and every community has its good. Excuse me, I'm trying to come through the fucking door. Thank you. Jeez. Fucking jeez, man. I don't want to go downstairs. If we go downstairs, we're gonna have to come back up anyway. So I'm just basically I'm basically taking my sniper position here, and then his buddy's like, hey, fuck you, okay? Fuck you. He's like, his buddy's like, fuck you, you're not doing this. I'm not allowing this to my friend. I'm gonna come over here and snipe you too. So look at it's my crew versus their crew. It just made me laugh when he just like comes over out of nowhere. He's like, hi, I want to snipe you too. So obviously I'm trying to avoid those arrows, but that's not happening. So I'm just gonna eat fucking alone bows. Alone bows? Alone shots. I'm just gonna eat them up. You know, I hear they're pretty tasty. It's like Jack Daniels with Coke. It's just delicious. You just taste the fucking arrows. But I'm just trying to pick my time, you know, pick the way at it because I don't want to go there. If I go there, I'm gonna get fucking murdered. You know, as long as there's just one, then he's more doable. But if you're fighting a solo, I just like it's so time consuming to fight solo. And that's a bad thing. That's what that's what you want from the game. You want to take your time with it. But obviously you can see I'm taking damage there. Capture cards being a bitch. My apologies. I'm gonna heal up here, and then I'm gonna basically just get my crew ready to fight the samurai, because this is gonna be the first attempt at the samurai. I only think I know there was like 10 attempts at this guy, but I pretty much cut out a lot of the fails for this one. Probably a lot more than I did with the, you know, obviously with Hume Knight there, because I got the hang of this guy pretty easy. And just look how fast he is though. Holy shit, he's faster than Sif. And I thought Sif was incredibly fast when Sif like jumps and moves. But obviously his sword, man, his sword is a fucking beast. And he's got that stab. You don't want that stab going to you, because that's how he buffs himself and takes your health. I've actually had that done to me a few times against on a few of the attempts. See, there's the stab, but it wasn't the stab that would help you up. But that range on it too is also what makes this fight so deadly. And I'm just trying to get away from him just to get a little bit of a heal on, because at this point, I'm like, please don't follow me. That's the curse buff. That if he lands that on me, like I'm not sure. I want to say the shield would block it, but see, that's the other thing. He moves so quickly, it's hard to really, especially with a heavy weapon, even though I'm putting so much damage into his ass. And I know, fun fact for anyone who's watching this who has never played Dark Souls or never attempted this boss, if you come into this room, and I think you have to battle him, I'm not quite 100% sure, I'm choosing him a little bit here. I'm not quite sure exactly the requirements, but if you come in here and you bow to him, like legit bow to him, like if you were going to Samurai versus Samurai and you bow to him and you take no damage in this fight, he commits Sabuken, which is basically he takes the whole blade and stabs himself, and it's just amazing. I've actually seen it, and it just, and part of me kind of wants to go back to this game just to get to that point that I'm super duper good at it, but I don't think it's gonna happen, because I get too frustrated with certain things in this game. I get way too frustrated, and I would be the first to admit that, but I have, like everyone who plays this game, you play it for the challenge, and when you overcome that giant challenge, you know, there's that life lesson that it's always, you know, you don't give up, and you keep the hope going that you'll fucking defeat this shit, and you'll defeat it at some point. You just don't do the same stupid shit over and over again. But look at all that damage, just my giant popsicle stick. We almost got him there with the gank spankers. And I want to say Dark Souls 3 is probably going to be harder because each boss had like 2 stages. But again, I can't really comment about it until I 100% sit down and play the entire game. I played a little bit of it, so I had that much behind me. So I'm not really going to comment more about it otherwise. Stupid ass Estus flask drink chug right there, and I was like, yeah, I could probably take this guy. I just gotta wait for him to do that like lunge attack. And if I would have rolled 3 times there, obviously I'm bleeding and it gets me. If I would have rolled right there, I probably could have had him on the first run. And then this is when I changed gear. I'm like, I'm gonna use Sunlight Blade, Lightning Greatsword, because I infused it with lightning now, just to get that extra buff. Because I look online, he's weak to lightning. I'm like, okay, bitch. All right, bitch, we're gonna do this. We're gonna fucking do this. You're going down, you little bitch. But obviously, I'm gonna take my time. I also have my Havel's Great Shield out because, well, with that range he has, there's nothing like sitting behind a fucking Havel that will protect you better. In all seriousness, I know it's a really cheesy scumbag way, but fuck it, you know, fuck it. It's gotta happen. And we're doing really good damage to him. I'm not taking too much damage and not having to constant heal. I gotta watch those swings. His range is just so good and he's so fast. Honestly, I think if I was using more of a speedy character, where I just put more into, you know, my stamina, I think this fight would have been a little bit easier. Because I put so much into like attunement and everything else. I was going balls to the walls with it. And, I'm gonna back off here, just constantly heal. Because that way, if he gets me in an area where, like that, I could just basically be okay on my health bar, and then hopefully they'll distract them long enough that I can get everything else going. Because I was thinking like the entire time, like, well, I could rebuff, but that's gonna mean that he has to not be paying attention to me, number one, and number two, that's gonna have to be twice. And look at that fucking swipe there. That thing is deadly. But we're pretty much getting them down really, really quick compared to, you know, the first time. The first time was just horrendous. The very first time wasn't bad, but it was just horrendous in comparison. You see, like, I take a good chunk there, I'm gonna back off on his ass and then just fill up. And it'd be the best thing for me to do. Just chug along, chug along. Chug, 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 chug. There goes a swing, and then I'm gonna go in for a little minor damage there. And that's pretty much like what you have to do. That's what you're fighting solo. And look when we talk about like solo as a fight. Obviously, I mean, if I would have had bleed resist, that would have been good too for this fight. I know he can also, when he swings his blade, he doesn't do it very much, but it seems like he could shoot. See right there, that's Curse or Darkness 22 Hexen. But now he's buffed, and I'm like, oh great, you're buffed. Like, yeah, it's gonna pierce through even Havels. If I wasn't using Havels because it's upgraded, I would have taken a shit ton more. But that could have ended so fucking badly right there, so badly, so easily. Just all that sweeping damage. My God, this guy is a fucking beast. I'm trying to back off here. I'm being really ballsy about this one, but I said fuck it, you know. I'm gonna be really ballsy. I'm gonna switch weapons and put my sunlight, you know, my chime on. While he's fucking distracted, I'm just gonna do all this and make the best of it. And obviously, I want to keep my humanity, so that's why I keep the ring on, a protection, just to make sure that if I do die, you know, I won't go hollow. Cause that's the one thing I always hate about Dark Souls 2, is every time you die, you basically get punished for it. And that's not to say that, you know, obviously, it's not well deserved if you do die. If I die, it's my own damn fault, you know, like I said, I think it was the last episode. But at the same time, you know, when you're dying and you're becoming more and more and more and more and more cursed, and your health bar goes down, 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 it's that much harder to survive. So it's like, if I really wanted to challenge myself, I would never go human. I would just stay hollow. Like, I really wanted to challenge myself, that would happen. But, I just need him to be a little bit more distracted and get that last hit in, and he's done. And I was so happy when it was over. Because it took quite a few attempts. And I know it was pretty cheesy the way I handled him. And look, I was so thirsty afterwards, man. He made me fucking sweat. He used flash sweat on me, bro. He used flash sweat on me. It was so intense. It was an intense fight. It really was. But very happy that that's over and said and done with. And obviously, Smelter Wedge, which I don't even think I went back to find the other Smelter. But this is against Fume. I brought my buddies. We took the long way because I suck with the short way, and we're just going to run past that one asshole there. And I have all this magic resist going on because my Havel's +5, I want to say. Great Chill, it's maxed out. Basically, is infused with magic, so every time it gets hit by it, obviously it's just going to eat it up. And secondly, the Quartz Ring, +3 defense. And with my own, you know, faith and intelligence, I should be good for this fight. Because this guy is a fucking beast, I just gotta watch out for that. Because that's always going. And he gets me, I'm like, well, this is going great! Look how lovely it is! And he stabs himself right off the back and bucks himself. And I'm like, well, oh wait, I'm sorry, he doesn't buck himself. Maybe it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was. I'm not sure. I finally get a hit in there. And my timing is off the first go. So yeah, that's all this stuff. That's my own fault. That AoE right there, I wasn't even aware he had that. And I'm drinking Divine Blessing because I was too stupid to have like my life transacted. So kind of my own fault if I die here. I'm not gonna spoil things, but I'm like, you know what? Enough being a pussy and hide behind this. I'm gonna go in for some damage. And this is when I was trying to see if he's going for the AoE, and I was like, you know what? While he goes for the AoE, I'll just spam him with a Dark Orb. He takes out one of the NPC summons. I'm like, that's good. We're off to a great start. And then here I'm just going for some damage. It's like with the first Melted Demon, you want to get that damage in. I didn't want to wait. And I know he's going to go ballistic at me now. He's angry at me. He's angry as fuck. And I was expecting AoE. And we got an AoE. So I'll just go in, give one whack, back off, pretty much. It's one of those fights you gotta be patient. I was expecting an AoE there. And I decided to back off and not attack there because, well, that could have been the end of me had I actually attacked. It really, really could have. That's what I was feeling like. There goes the swing. That's what I meant, sweep. And I was expecting AoE, I'm like, oh fuck. Just get out of the area, and then he waits for the AoE and then does it. So obviously I'm going to heal every time because I want to stay in this fight, and when you're close to him, even with all this magic defense, I'm still taking some damage from this. This flash sweat is too much. Look at that, my shield just fucking popped off with the sword. So fucking good. I think the first time I fought him, which was God knows how many episodes back, I struggled with him because I think I was using I should have been using Havels. Because it just makes more sense to use Havels in this fight. But he gets that sweep on me and he misses on that and I'm like, okay. Let's fuck up again. Like, let me kill now, okay? Yeah, that's right, back off, buddy. And then he hits me again and I'm like, I was getting angry at this point. I'm just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm just gonna back off and heal. I was expecting AoE, he didn't go for AoE. So that damage in there. Under the sweep of his room. Under the sweep of his room. There goes a stab. That's the attack I like when he does because it's easier to deal with him when he goes for the stab. You don't have to worry about it. When he goes for this shit, it pisses me off because you don't know if he's going for AoE or what he's going for. Actually gonna eat some damage there, some smelter crotch. It's kind of smelly in there. Just let you guys know if you're ever curious. Kind of smelly in there. I know the quality is like dipping because fucking media quality is just being shit. So my apologies. But you see, this is what I mean. I didn't know if he was going for AoE. I back off a bit. He went for AoE and I just get those dark orbs and I do like 100 damage. That's like 300 fucking damage. That's just gonna rack up. Especially with my blade, you know, it's gonna make this fight a little bit easier. But especially that he keeps going for that, I'm like, you know what? Fine, go ahead. I'm just gonna dark orb spam here. Just get 2 in, 200 damage, and stack that damage up. That's it. Stack that fucking damage up. I'm like, well, I could get greedy there and just end the fight, but I decided not to. I decided to play it super duper safe. Get that one dark orb in. I'm like, alright, this has got to be one hit. Right? Swing. I missed. Fuck! Get the fuck out of the area. Start panic rolling. Panic roll! Panic roll! Get the hell out of there! Panic roll! Like that. I was like, I can't even dark orb right now because he's too fast for dark orb. He'll come right as it's launching. And then he survives this hit. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And he messes that up. You're like, you know what? You fucking survive? Eat a dick. Eat a fucking dick. At that point, I was like screaming at my screen, eat a dick. But, yeah, that wraps up all the Dark Souls second DLC for this. That wraps it all up. Holy shit. We're on to the last one. It's gonna happen. And I can say that obviously I finished the game. I'm just doing the post-coms now. But I've never been so overjoyed to finish this shit in a long time as I was with the Smelter Demon. So I just want to quickly say thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. Sorry about the quality drop. It should fix in about an episode or two. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.